A lot of people seem confused about how to use Squarespace with something like Kit when Squarespace already has email campaigns built in. And so the question I'm often asked is, how do I deliver a freebie with Kit without using multiple automations or one automation per delivery? Because that's how it works in other systems like MailerLite and Flowdesk, for example. I've used both, so I know. You have to have an automation to deliver the thing after they sign up with the form. But in Kit or ConvertKit, that's what it used to be called, it's different. It doesn't work that way. The delivery of the freebie they're incentivized to sign up to your email list for is actually delivered and set in the form settings. So today I want to show you how that actually works from start to finish, how to pick a form, what the various form types are or what they do, how they work, how to actually design the form, how to set up the settings and embed it on Squarespace, and then come back and see different scenarios. But before I dive into that and show you the inside of my actual ConvertKit account, I'm not ever going to be used to calling it Kit. It's ConvertKit. It's always been ConvertKit. Anyway, I digress. Before I show you the inside of my Kit account, if we haven't met before, my name is Caitlin. I run Launch the Damn Thing. I am a Squarespace designer and educator. I've been a graphic designer since 2006. And in the past 10 years, I've learned a lot of things about running a business by myself because I wear a lot of hats as a solopreneur. My mission on this channel is to find detailed things that I can try to simplify for you and show you how to do them and teach you how to do the things that took me lots of Googling to figure out on my own. Let's dive into my Kit account so I can show you this step by step. I'm on a paid plan, but you will hopefully start on a free plan because that's the most cost efficient option. You'll go under Grow and then Landing Pages and Forms. And this is where you'll create all of the subscribe forms that you can put on any website builder, no matter what you're using, and collect the leads or subscribers that will join your email list in exchange for whatever gift you're giving them, whether it's a PDF, a checklist, a link, doesn't matter. So once you're here, you'll go to create new and we'll start a new form. You have two options. You can choose a form, which can be literally the form fields, or you can choose a landing page, which will come with some sort of design and a link because it works on its own. It can't be embedded. It is a full working one-page website to a degree. It's just a very basic one. For this purpose, we'll do a form so I can show you how to embed it on Squarespace. And then you have a few options from here. Now that you've picked a form type, what kind of form do you want this to be? Do you want it to be inline? So literally you can embed it in the middle of a blog post, in the middle of your homepage, in your footer, whatever. The modal is a pop-up. So if you click a button, it initiates a pop-up form that basically covers the page that they're looking at. So it'll create a transparent kind of background where it's visually on top of whatever they were looking at before. A slide in is usually sliding in from a corner. It's sort of like a modal, but it's not overlaying the entire page. It's not making the entire page inaccessible while they're looking at the form. A sticky bar shows up just like you would expect, sticky either at the top or the bottom. Let's do the basic inline option. So now that you've chosen the type of form, the location of the type of form, now you're choosing the template or the design for that form. So we've chosen inline. That means we can embed it anywhere we want and we can have any of these designs. Choose whatever gets you closest to the end result you're looking for because they all do more or less the same kinds of things. The one that's most different is this one, and you might have been used to that. So if you want to design the thing that goes with it, then I would choose the Claire template, which may or may not be named the same when you're watching this video later, because you can embed just the fields and then put it next to whatever you want in your website builder. So you can build the page and do everything except for the form fields and then just embed the form fields that go with it. So if you want the most amount of customizability, that's the one that I would pick. Otherwise, I'll just pick one of these other options. This one. The Charlotte. So from here, you have a lot of settings. So you can change that image here. So we'll go to where it says background section and replace. And we'll look on Unsplash. This one looks good. Okay, so you picked your image and now it's time to organize the content over here on the right side. If you're on a paid plan, you can turn off this built with kit option just by clicking on it and then unchecking that box show. So if it's grayed out, it's not going to show to anybody. You can only do that on paid plans though. On the free plan, you won't be able to get rid of that. So for the title, they kind of give you best practices in the actual setup of the form. So look at what it's telling you to put there, get our guide. Like this is the call to action. This tells them what they get if they put in their name and email address, and make it specific. I don't have a specific freebie I'm putting in this one, so I don't really know, but make it specific. Just getting a free checklist is not going to attract anybody. Getting a specific free checklist for what to pack when you're moving or how to start a new website, that's going to be more attractive to somebody who's filling this form out. Now, underneath that, if you don't already see the name field and you want to include that, then you click the plus sign button and you go over here on the right side and then set what that extra field is going to be. So in this case, it's going to stay a custom field because it's not going to be a tag. And we're going to select the custom field type and we're going to select first name because I don't need their last name. I just want to be able to address them as a human. And then we can type in whatever we want it to actually say in that field. And then we want to mark that as required because I do want them to put in their first name. And then you can set the colors and the font weight if you want to, but I'm going to leave those alone for now. And then I want to reorder those because I want them to do name first, email second. Otherwise, people tend to accidentally not read and just put in what they assume is going to be there. And if they're out of order from what's typical, then you will get a email address in the name field and a name field in the email address, and they won't be able to submit. If you want to add additional field types, you certainly can, but those first two are the main ones that most people tend to use. And if I were going to add more, you can see the other options for that are based on whatever custom fields I have in my account, or you can set it to a tag. The reason you might set it as a tag would be, for example, if you are allowing people to select what they are interested in, and then you have automations in your account set up to deliver content based on those automations. If you have no idea what I'm talking about, then completely ignore it and don't try to set this up. Just know it's possible. But for newbies, you will not need that. So I'm going to delete that field. Then I'm going to come down to the button and I'm going to change the color because I am not, despite my headband today, I am not a pink girl. And then I'm going to change the border radius to the pill shape just by increasing the border radius, which is going to be each of the four corners. And the higher that number, the more round that is going to be. And then underneath that, you can set whatever this sort of disclaimer-y statement is, unsubscribe at any time. I'm just going to leave it as is, but I'm going to italicize it. That's basically all there is to that. There is a bit of custom CSS you can put in if you know how to code that will customize the success message, because ConvertKit uses a very specific bright green, which might not be your brand color when the form has been filled out successfully, and you can actually change that color here. I'll put that code snippet in the blog post for this video so you can grab it there. Okay, so we've got the image set, we've got the title set, we've got the fields we want, and I need to actually, this still says guide, get our free checklist. And then I'm going to change this to say checklist so it matches. Send me the checklist. And then I'm going to check the general styles for the form. So this is how the form will look on our site. The content will be somewhere around it on the page. We can preview here. We can see the reports for who's filled it out once it's live. And then this is the special thing about ConvertKit that I was telling you about earlier. You don't have to have a separate automation to deliver the thing they're signing up for in Kit or ConvertKit. Kit's always going to sound weird to me. So in order to deliver the thing, click on settings. And then from this pop-up, this is all the internal stuff that happens once they've hit that subscribe button. So this is the message they will see in that bright green color that I told you about. You can change that to say whatever you want, but I like to edit that so that they understand they will also be receiving their freebie there. So you got it, you've subscribed, some kind of positive affirmation of, hey, that worked. And then what to do next, where to look, where to go, check your email to access the checklist. You can also do this option, redirect to an external URL, but I don't recommend you do that. Leave it on success message so they'll still see the form, but the form itself will be replaced with a green box that literally says this. But don't click save yet because we're not done. I don't remember if this is on the free plan, so I'm just going to bypass that. Don't worry about it. It doesn't matter. This is an embedded form on a page of your website, so that page will have a link. You don't need a link for this. On the incentive part of your form settings, this is going to ask you what the incentive email says. So basically, what's happening here is we set up the form. We're telling ConvertKit that there is an incentive for them to fill this out. And to deliver the incentive, we have to send them an email. We're going to edit the contents of the email. This is using their older email editor. And so there's going to be very limited options here. You can't address them by name until after they've confirmed. So this is going to do two different things. First, it's going to allow them to confirm their subscription, because when they click this button, that's what happens. See, if you click on the button itself in the editor, you see in the URL field, confirm URL. That's ConvertKit's variable field to indicate in their system that they are confirming they want to be on your email list. So that's a thing that we don't have to do. It's built into your confirmation incentive email. But what you can also do is to change the wording on this button and in this email to say something like click below to confirm and access. So you can do two parts of this in one go. Grab your checklist inside. Okay, so some sort of call to action in the subject line. And so something in the subject line to grab their attention and tell them that their freebie that they signed up for is inside that email to open it. You don't have to have the header or anything like that. It's just using a standard email template in my account, so you can ignore all of that. And then after you've written the email, this is what ideally you have in it. Some sort of generic greeting, because you're not going to be able to call them out by name. And then you're going to say something like, glad you're here, I'm happy you're interested, whatever. That's optional. The most important part is this part right here that says click the link below to access the checklist, and keep the part that says something to the effect of confirm that you want to be on my email list, confirm that you want access to my killer newsletters, whatever. Then on the button, make sure it says confirm and access the whatever you're giving them, and then sign off however you want, and then click save. The reason we're doing that is because Kit will allow you to kill two birds with one stone by delivering the incentive that they were filling out the form for and confirming their place in your email list because of the double opt-in thing. If you have that off, you don't need that part, but I recommend that you keep it on because of GDPR and a whole bunch of other privacy laws that are important to abide by as much as possible. So in the form, let's backtrack a little bit. I'm going to save that change. I'm going to back out. Within the form, you can set it up to say whatever you want. You can swap out the image if it has one. You can turn on or off the built with Kit on the form if you're on a paid plan. And then from within the form, this is all forms, not just this one, you can always set the form details and settings itself to deliver the thing they're opting in for. You don't have to have a separate automation for that. So you could, but that's unnecessarily complicated. So open any form, doesn't matter which one, and then go to settings, and then under your general area, customize the message that they're going to get, then go to the incentive tab, click on edit email contents, rewrite the email. If you have the double opt-in on, you're going to want to make sure that you say confirm and access whatever the incentive is, because that's what this one email is doing. They will not have to confirm with this email and then get a second email for access to the incentive. This one email does both things. So we'll save that. And then underneath that, this is part 2 of the incentive. You can, again, auto-confirm new subscribers, but if you do that, that is turning double opt-in off. And when you check that box, it's going to tell you why you should not auto-confirm people, because ConvertKit doesn't really want you to do that, but they are giving you the option. So the risk and liability is on you, not them. checking the box, you've got the incentive email in place. This is where you're actually sending them when they click that button. After confirming, so when they click the button, it's going to confirm them first, and then it's going to redirect them to either a link or a download. If you have a link, you can paste it here. If it lives on your website, if it's a Google Doc, if it's a Canva template, whatever, you can paste the link here. But if you have a file, you can upload the file instead. And when they click that button, they will be directed to the place where they can download the file. So either will work, both are fine. When you're done, click Save. One more step, under the Advanced tab, you can dictate what happens to people who see the form again and they've already completed it, if they've already subscribed with that particular form. So you can change the behavior. If you want to continue to show them the form, for example, some people forget what freebies they've downloaded. If you want to continue to show the form, leave it. That's the default. You can also choose to hide the form so they just won't see the form anymore after they've already filled it out. You might assume that that's the right thing to do, but I just want to point out the caveat here that, again, people sign up for freebies sometimes multiple times. And if they forget where they put it, for example, or they can't find it, they accidentally deleted it and they want to try to get it again, this will prevent them from doing that. So whether it's on purpose or not, this will prevent them from accessing it more than one time. And then you can also choose to show custom content. So this would be like seeing a message instead of the form that's like, hey, you already filled this out, go look for the thing. But again, for the same reason, I feel like this is not the best option because let's say they can't find the thing that they downloaded and they need to download it again. This is their only method to do that. And if you prevent them from accessing the form, whether it's just hidden or showing you a message, they can't get it again and they'll ask you for it. To eliminate that possibility, keep them out of your inbox. So leave that on, continue to show the form. My opinion, you can do what you want. Send subscriber data to thank you page. You can do that if you want to by passing on URL parameters. Again, that's not for newbies, so ignore that if you don't understand what that's talking about. You can turn on an invisible reCAPTCHA if you want to. That basically prevents bots from being able to fill out your form. But again, as a newbie, you don't have enough traffic to worry about that. So you can just leave it alone. If you are done, then you can save your changes. And now it's time to actually embed the form because you're done. You've set up the form itself so it can collect people. You've set up the incentive email to deliver a confirmation that they want to be on your list and at the same time deliver the actual file or asset that they're incentivized to fill out the form for. Now that we've got all of the settings set up, we're going to go to publish. And I know embed button comes first before publish. So you're going to be tempted to push the first button first, but you can't embed it until after it's published. So publish it first, and then we'll get the embed code and actually put it on the website. So I just clicked published. You can see that the alert message pops up at the bottom. It may take a few minutes, blah, blah, blah. You haven't even embedded it yet, so that's not relevant. If we go to embed, the first option is JavaScript, so I'm going to copy that JavaScript, and then I'm going to go over to Squarespace, my website builder. I'm going to add on any page of my website. It doesn't have to be a particular page type. I'm going to add a embed block. I'm going to click Edit and then Code Snippet, not link, because JavaScript is code. And then I'm going to click Embed Data and paste in the code that I copied to my clipboard from Kit, and then press Save. You can put that block anywhere you want on the page and any section you want on the page. Now we've got that embed block, and you can see ConvertKit's form is pulling in my font styles. That is why inside the form itself, we never saw the option to pick a font because it's going to pull in whatever the default is in your web builder. Let's test the form. Send me the checklist. There we go. And there's the bright green I was talking about. So, I mean, it's not absolutely hideous, and most people will understand that that's just the color of a success message that is pretty standardized. But if you want to change that, I'll put the code snippet below so that you don't have to see that ugly, bright neon green color. Now that they've filled out that form, ConvertKit will show a report. To publish again, save our change, and now we'll do a report. And it looks like we've got one visitor, and that one visitor subscribed from this website. So you don't have to have any Zapier connections. You don't have to use email campaigns in Squarespace in order to put subscribers that fill out a form on a Squarespace page into Kit because we're using the actual form from Kit embedded on Squarespace. So when they fill out the Kit form, they'll automatically be dumped into Kit. As a result of filling out that form, they will have gotten an email. It looks something like this, where you can see this is the subject that we told it. This is the template that it's using. And then this is the body of the email. It says, "Hi, we're glad you're here. Click the link below to access your checklist and confirm that you want to be here." And then click confirm and access the checklist, which will redirect them to a thing if I had actually assigned it one, but I didn't actually give it a link. So it's coming here. But that would work if you had put in an actual link on the form itself. Now that we know what that process is like, let's go back to my main form list so I can show you one that's actually real. This is a good example of a form on my website that can be placed anywhere as long as I know where to put it, because this particular form is delivering the image and video tips Notion cheat sheet. I really should come up with a shorter thing to say there. I didn't want to use ConvertKit's pre-styled form. I just needed the fields themselves. So this is where that is embedded. So here on my blog page, I have this image block and that image block, and then this ConvertKit form, so that when they fill that out, they get this, but the two are not directly tied to each other. This form could be there by itself. It does not need these images to be here or any of this other stuff. So that's an example of something that is customizable. Then down here, I have this ConvertKit form embedded, and that one is delivering access to the quiz. So the form settings for this particular form to deliver that from my blog page, they see a success message from the form right when they fill it out, just like you saw in the other one. Then in the incentive email, it's confirming and sending them to this location on the interwebs where they will be able to access that freebie that they're signing up for. And then inside the email, they'll see the explanation. "So glad you're here. Here's what happens. Here's where to access your stuff. And then here's how to make a copy of it for themselves," because this is actually a delivery of a Notion document, which is a little different than a standard document. So here they have the option to create a free Notion account with my affiliate link, and they can also see how to make a copy inside their Notion account. So I'm telling them how to get it, where to get it, and how to make a copy of it. Oh, and that subject line too says delivery, your blah, blah, blah is inside, which is a good call to action. Then under the incentive email, once you've got that figured out, the confirm redirect goes to the actual document, and that's the end of that. On a full page form, which we haven't talked about yet, this is an example of a general subscribe form, meaning there isn't actually an incentive for this one. This just lets people organically join my list for any and all reasons. So this is a full page form. It's accessible from here in my footer. Get my emails, they're actually good. And when they click that button, they'll see this form. So on the form, they see my logo, and then I'm telling them what they're signing up for, basically, because there's not an incentive here. They can put their name and email address in, and then this is an example of them being allowed to pick what they're interested in. So I'm just asking, why are you here? Why are you filling this out if there's no incentive? Like, I'm just curious. So this field, this third one, is a tag field, and the checkboxes are specific tags. So I will be able to filter what they receive when applicable based on what they told me they're most interested in when they filled out the form. Then they click subscribe. I can set the settings for that here. I've also told them that privacy is important and they can unsubscribe anytime with no questions asked. They don't need to ask me to be removed. They can do that themselves. And then in the settings, because this one's a little bit different, the success message says, "Done. I gotta say, you're the best kind of fan and I can't wait to e-meet you. Now go check your email because I'm dropping in to say hello here and tell you all my secrets." Basically trying to increase the inevitability of them checking their email and confirming their subscription to my newsletter, because without confirmation in a double opt-in situation, I can't contact them after they've subscribed unless they have confirmed. This is related to the double opt-in. We are only marketing to people who want to be on our list. So that gives them a confirmation message of, I don't just want your freebie, I also want to be on your email list. That's what double opt-in means. So that's the success message. And then under the incentive, we have a email Did I mention you're the best? I'm so stoked you're here. Yes, I want to be here. So they click that and that confirms their subscription with my email list. The subject line says action needed. Please accept my friendship with a sad emoji to try to get their attention. And then underneath that, they will be confirmed and redirected to a short form survey on my website they can choose to fill out if they want to. And that basically says, like, have you been watching my YouTube videos? Where did you find me? How did you get here? Like those kinds of questions, which a surprising number of people do fill out. And then on the advanced, I still leave it on continue to show the form so they can resubscribe anytime. And then under SEO, this is different because embedded forms can't have their own SEO. They're already on a page that has SEO. But on a full page form, it can have its own SEO. So if you are using Google Analytics or Fathom, which I've just recently switched to, you'll put in the code so that Fathom can track how many people are looking at this page because the whole page is the form. So I am putting in an SEO title and description for the form itself so that when it's shared on the interwebs, it has an image and a title and a description. Fathom will track how many people look at the page, and that's kind of the end of that. So as you can see, using Kit with any web builder is pretty flexible. You can do kind of what you want with it. And if you noticed, I never ever opened automations. This all happens under landing pages and forms. And no matter what kind of form you set up, you will be able to deliver something, send them somewhere, and customize the email that they get when they fill out the form without ever touching an automation. That said, if you want to know more about automations in Kit, I don't consider myself an expert, but I do have a lot of things happening in here. I do have automations. I do have a lot of rules. And I also have an automation that can see when I post new blog posts, which creates a draft of the newsletter that I send out as the post announcement. So if you want to learn more about that, leave a comment below and let me know so I can do a video on that too. So I hope that was helpful for you. Kit is a robust system and platform, but their free plan makes it kind of forcibly simple for you. Their free plan allows you to grow up to 10,000 subscribers. I am not kidding. With one automation, which could be your nurture sequence or your welcome sequence. And we can cover that in a different video. If you're interested, leave a comment below and let me know. So you get one automation in your free plan and you can have up to 10,000 subscribers, which is insane, honestly. That is so many people. And you don't get that on any other platform. MailerLite, for example, is a competitor to MailChimp and Flowdesk and ConvertKit or Kit, and you only get up to 1,000 subscribers on their free plan. On Flowdesk, you just have a 30-day trial. The one interesting factoid about Flowdesk is that they have a flat rate plan, which no other platform does. So there's pros and cons to a lot of these. And I guess also I should say, if this is something that you want to learn more about, let me know because I can do a deep dive on all the platforms that I've used. In the past 10 years of my business, I've tried Kit, MailerLite, MailChimp very briefly, hated it, don't recommend, email campaigns, sort of, Flowdesk for a couple of years, and ConvertKit for the longest. I'm not going to get used to saying that. Anyway, if you want to know more about any of these platforms, leave a comment below. I've got some thoughts to share. I'm happy to talk about it, but I'm not going to do that unless y'all give a shit. So anyway, I hope this video was helpful for you. I hope this helps you set up your own form and deliver your own freebies and start growing your email list. If you have follow-up questions to this process, let me know in the comments below. And that's all I have for you in this video. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.